breaking news as Trump administration reveals major changes in Social Security, SSI and SSDI benefits, and at the same time, this is what's going on.
Where's the independence of the committee? Where's the legislature? We're an equal branch of government. And you start off with a blather?
This was John Larson. Remember that John Larson has been advocating for seniors for quite a long time, and recently he stood on the floor and said something very shocking. Well, I'm gonna show you that entire video clip, but at the same time, the Social Security Administration has been under scrutiny under the Trump administration with concerns that the president's major budget bill passed in the month of July could result in cuts for benefits for millions and thousands of Americans. But on the other side, there's the good news, which could put more money into the pockets of millions and millions of seniors and disabled Americans. I'm gonna give you each and every detail, but all I need is just a little favor. It takes 2 seconds to please hit that like button on this video. So without any further ado, let's start the video. So let's start the video with this very important update, as Social Security update just arrived because Trump administration reveals major changes when it comes to Social Security, SSI and SSDI benefits. Well, these changes are somewhat good for millions of Americans, but at the same time, there are some major points of concern for millions of disabled Americans. I'm gonna tell you about it, but first let's watch what John Larson said during the recent House hearing where he shocked everyone, and we are talking about increase in benefits.
There was a 14% cut in benefits. Today, we have a comprehensive proposal with regard to Social Security to help everybody across the board, including a 2% overall increase in Social Security. Again, something that hasn't been done since Richard Nixon was President of the United States. We also want to make sure that no one receives a below poverty level check from Social Security. Currently, more than 5 million of our fellow Americans, most, Madam Speaker, you'll find interesting, are women, and primarily because they were the caregivers and the providers at home, and when they were in the workforce, were making less than their male counterparts. No matter how you look at it, it's unfair and unjust. Social Security is the nation's #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly, and it's also the #1 anti-poverty program for children. And more veterans, Madam Speaker, rely on Social Security disability than they do the VA. And yet Congress has not acted. This is not anything that can be done through executive order or anything that's before the Supreme Court. What all Americans should be demanding is that their Congress not only pay attention, but act. We have a proposal that does just that. It expands coverage across the board. It makes sure that no one can retire into poverty, like more than 5 million current Americans do. It also makes sure that we provide a cost of living increase, an increase that will benefit everybody. And where do they spend that money, Madam Speaker? Right back in the congressional district that they live in, right back into buying groceries and going to the pharmacy, paying to heat and cool their homes, paying their rent, their mortgage, and put gasoline in their automobiles. That all helps the American economy. And during this time of inflation, it is not understandable why Republican-controlled House and Senate will not take up Social Security as the main issue facing the American people, including the best step forward during these times of inflation. Where do people spend that check? Right back in the communities they live in. That's the most important thing.
So this was John Larson talking about increasing and expanding Social Security benefits for millions of Americans. Well, according to his very important proposal known as Social Security 2100 Act, John Larson is calling for across-the-board increases to all Social Security, SSI and SSDI benefits, and he's calling for 2% increase. But there's one thing that you need to understand. This is just the one part of this bill. He's also calling to change the COLA metric that measures COLA every single year. He's actually calling to change it for CPIE instead of CPIW. So what CPIE will do, it will analyze the seniors' spending, such as how much they spend on their groceries, how much they spend on their rent, on their mortgage, on their utilities, on their prescriptions, and then it will set the new COLA accordingly. And that's where this very, very important proposal becomes the highlight of his recent speech. Because remember, according to a number of analysts, if they adopt this new COLA metric, means CPIE, it will increase the benefits from $300 to $500 every single month for millions of Social Security, SSI, and SSDI recipients. And that's where you come in. Please let me know in the comments below, do you support this new COLA metric, and do you support this $300 to $500 increase in your Social Security, SSI, and SSDI benefits? Well, if you do, then write in the comment section, I support Social Security increase. Again, if you support it, then write in the comment section, I support Social Security increase, because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Moving on with the details of this very important update, leadership changes announced on Wednesday included Chad Poist as Chief of Staff and Chief Risk Officer, Karen Glenn as Chief Actuary, Nicholas Perrine as Chief Communications Officer, Jay Ortiz as Acting Chief of Disability Adjudication, and Andy Ribas as Chief of Field Operations. The Social Security Administration also announced plans to restructure its operations into 3 areas: field operations, processing centers, and digital service, to bring leadership closer to frontline service and enhance efficiency. The SSA said that it is consolidating all security functions into a single organization, which will oversee information security, physical and protective security, and personal security and sustainability of programs. Well, this is great because these changes will certainly put some sort of legitimacy when it comes to the Social Security benefits, and especially Social Security Administration systems that process the payments. But one thing is very important right now. The main issue is how seniors and Social Security as well as disabled Americans are living right now. According to John Larson, 5 million Social Security recipients receiving below poverty level checks from Social Security Administration. So when it comes to this administration, they should actually pick this subject first, and they should do something about it. At least make these Social Security checks parallel to the current inflation, because millions of seniors are struggling. Why? Because according to the recent report from Gallup, the prices of groceries are up by 21%, and the increase that is projected to be released in 2026 is just 2.7%. Just imagine how seniors are going to take this increase, and would it make any difference in their life? Well, certainly not. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.